It's that time of the year again. People are out shopping for the holiday season, and that only means one thing for us Amazon sellers. Demand is about to go up. Now, it's not all fun and games because even though demand goes up, you can actually find it more difficult to sell during this period since advertising and storage becomes more costly. Today, I'll be sharing with you 3 different areas of my Amazon business that I adjust every single holiday season. That way I can actually meet my profit margins when advertising goes up and storage fees increase. Let's get started. So there are 3 different areas that I always adjust during the holiday season, and these are really the most important areas that you really need to rethink your approach and your strategy for your Amazon store. The first is advertising, which we're about to get into here in 1 second. The second is inventory efficiency, and then the third is what to do with your listing. So let's start out with advertising. So during the holiday season, we know that demand will surely increase. That is a fact, that is a given fact for our products. Now, with that being said, if demand is going to increase, more than likely competition for advertising to get that space on Amazon is going to increase. Therefore, our advertising costs are going to go up. So what may have been $1 per click for an advertisement space now may be $1.50 or possibly $2 per click. So we really have to think about how to efficiently advertise during this time. Now, what I always do is I change my strategy from advertising and I start to advertise very specific keywords that relate directly to my product. Now, what I mean by this, I'll go to Jungle Scout just to give you an idea of what I mean. For this example, let's say that we are selling card shufflers during the holiday season and throughout the year. Now, throughout the year, I may be targeting this card shuffler keyword, which is one of the most popular in terms of 30-day search volume. So I may be targeting that and trying to place my listing at the top of that page. Now, on average right now, it's October, I'd be paying anywhere from 67 cents to about 80 cents per click, depending on my PPC bid type. And as you can see here, it is very difficult to rank your listing using this keyword during this given time. Now, this is fine during the first 3 quarters of the year, but as soon as we enter the holiday season, I would recommend adding very specific keywords to your campaign manager in your existing campaigns. And so let's say that we were selling a card shuffler that was a very large one, and you could put 4 to 6 decks of cards into that machine to shuffle. What I would do is I would target more specific keywords like card shuffler 6 deck electric. So there are a lot more keywords in that phrase, and therefore you're going to have less competition and you're going to have a much cheaper way of advertising. And additionally, you can see here, it's much easier to rank this compared to the more generic keywords. So by doing that, you're going to save yourself money. It's going to add to more conversions because someone typing in that very specific keyword is going to purchase your product more times than not because they know what they want. Now, the second thing with advertising that I recommend changing is to eliminate the word gifts or gift from your keywords that you target during the holiday season. On the right here, we can see this keyword phrase of golf gifts for men. Yeah, that might be great because you're thinking someone who's looking for a gift for their significant other or just a friend, they may be typing in this keyword phrase. But what you don't know as an Amazon seller is that those PPC bid types and those costs are going to increase significantly. As you can see here, the exact searches for this phrase increases exponentially during this 1 month period 2 month period from November up until January, I would say. Now, if that is the case, your PPC bids are going to increase tremendously. I wish I had a way of showing you the PPC bids across time so you could see how much it increases. But if that demand is increasing that much for that specific keyword, you can surely understand that that PPC bid is going to go up by 2, 3, maybe 4 times its current rate. And back to what I said before, target very specific keywords. If I'm a consumer searching golf gifts for men, I'm probably not 100% sure what I want, but I know I want it to be in that general category. So I may be getting something completely different than what your product is. So that's why it's so important to target those specific keywords. That way you're targeting a very specific customer base that is looking for your product. And lastly, within advertising, I typically change my advertising budget from 80% Amazon pay-per-click advertising and 20% Google AdWords, and I really reverse that. So I put 80% of my advertising budget during the holiday season into Google AdWords and 20% into Amazon pay-per-click advertising. Now, I'm sure you're asking the question, why do you do that? Why do you entirely flip your strategy on how you advertise and which platform? What I've found over the past couple of years is that during the holiday season, the competition for Google AdWords is not as great as it is on Amazon. I don't know if that's just because it's a search engine, not necessarily a direct consumer e-commerce platform such as Amazon. So I found I've had better conversions using Google AdWords during this time. It's also been a lot cheaper and a lot more efficient. So I'd recommend switching over at least some of your portion of your advertising budget to Google AdWords. I'll put a link in the cards right now, which will cover my exact settings on how I approach that. So this brings us to our inventory. What I'm talking about in this section is what to do with your existing inventory, and most importantly, how much inventory should you send in order to efficiently sell out those number of units and to avoid those costly storage fees. Now, the first question there, let's just talk about, when should I be sending in inventory and how many units? I recommend going to Jungle Scout, finding your niche, and then finding the historical search volume for the previous 2 years. Now, what I'm looking for here is when that demand began to spike and when it began to decline during that holiday season. So if we jump back to 2020, it looks like November 8th through the 14th, that week, we began to see an increase in demand in those searches, with it peaking at about, I'd say, the first to second week of December. Now we'll jump over to 2021. Let's see if we can see a similar trend or something even better. It looks like the rise in demand started that same week of November in 2021, with it peaking about the second to third week of December. So it ran for a little bit longer, an extra week, but relatively speaking, it looks like that first or second week of November up until mid-December is when we want to have the majority of our inventory there. The last thing you want to do is to send all your inventory in, let's say the first week of December. It's there, it's available to sell, and then we see this decline in demand significantly up and through the end of January. You're going to lose a lot of money and you're going to pay a lot of money for storage fees if you were to approach it that way. So if this was my niche that I was selling in and I saw this trend, I have 2 data points suggesting the same historical trend, I would make sure that I have the bulk of my inventory on or before November 7th through the 13th of this year. So as of right now, it's beginning of October. I'd want to begin sending my inventory in probably near the end of October, which gives Amazon about 7 to 10 business days to actually check that in and for us to see that demand rise. All right, and the second question that we can answer is, how many units should I send in? Should I send 200 in, 500 in? It really depends on your niche and your personal sales history if you have any. For this example, let's say that you're just beginning to sell this product, you haven't sold it in the past, so you really don't understand how many daily units you sell. Again, let's go back to the average units sold 2 years and take a look at 2020 and 2021. So on average in December of 2020, this niche sold over 5,150 units. For 2021, slightly less at 3,500 units. Now this is the average monthly units sold per listing. This takes into consideration the listing that probably sold 2 units that month, and it takes into consideration the listing that sold 20,000, let's just say. So what I've always done is I would, if I was trying to predict how many units I'd sell, I'd take the most recent historical value unless it was significantly different from the year before that. So I would take 3,526 and I would divide that by 20. Now 20 is just, trust me, it's just a rule of thumb, but it does work across different categories and different niches from my personal experience. There's no science to support this, so use this at your own discretion, but it's worked fairly well for me. So if I was a new listing selling these poker card shufflers, I would send in a maximum of 176 units. And you really understand in the first couple of weeks, if you're going to be selling out by the end of December, by mid-December, you'll definitely know that once you get a couple of data points of how many you sell per week. Okay, moving over to the next inventory topic, and this is around storage fees. So storage fees, I'm sure they go up in October, November, and December of every single year, and they're going to actually increase even more this year because of the inflation and fuel surcharge that we're seeing in 2022. So as you can see here, January to September, we pay 83 cents here in the US per cubic foot. Now in October through December, we pay nearly about 2.7 to 3 times more at $2.40 per cubic foot. It's a major increase, and for you, it may not seem like a lot. You may be thinking I'm selling something small, even at 200 units, it shouldn't be that expensive. Let's take a look at an example. So let's say we were selling a product that is 12 inches by 12 inches by 24 inches, 1 by 1 by 2 feet. It's a pound and it's in sports and outdoors. If we go down to the storage costs from January to September for 200 units, it would cost us $212. That's not too bad per month for 200 units of that size, but as soon as we go to October and December, we can see that increase to $480. It nearly doubles to triples its value. So I just want to reiterate how important it is not to have excess inventory. It's a good problem if you send in less units than you think that you actually need and you sell out of those units. By doing that, you're efficiently placing your inventory. You may miss out on sales, but you're not going to pay excess storage costs if you were to send in 1,000 units or something. Okay, the last thing in this section is to just really think about your existing inventory that you have at Amazon and what type of products those are. So this part of it's really only applicable to those individuals and those sellers who have been selling products throughout the year and they're not just getting started during the holiday season. Now, what I always do is I take all my non-holiday products, something that really wouldn't sell well during the holiday season, especially if it's seasonal. For example, if I was selling portable AC fans, which are very popular in the warmer months like spring and summertime, I would remove every single unit from Amazon or significantly decrease the amount of units at Amazon because the chances of somebody purchasing a portable AC fan in December when it's a much colder climate here in the US, I just don't think it's the best strategy to keep those there, pay storage for them when they're not going to sell. So I'll ship them back to myself, to my business. I'll have them stored here until those warmer months, and then I'll send them back into Amazon to sell. Okay, on to our last section here of the last adjustment that I make, and that is around our existing listings, or if you're creating a new listing, here are some tips. So the first thing I do is I always go to my pictures. I always do my pictures myself, so I'm not working with anybody that has to do this for me, so I can do it fairly quickly. What I'll always do is, for this example, for one of the products I sell, I'll add a ribbon to the product or, something that it just shows some festivity that relates to the holiday season. Something as simple as that can really catch a consumer's eye who's looking for a gift. They see a ribbon and they immediately click my listing instead of the one that has a golfer in the summer or something. This is just a better approach and a quick addition to your pictures that can really set yourself apart. So think about adding maybe holiday lights, a Christmas tree, whatever it may be, that can really help your product listing and your images stand out from your competition. Now, the last thing I would do is I would go to my existing listing. I would adjust my bullet points in my title, especially to include keywords related to the holiday season or something around gifts. I know I said in the keyword section for advertising to not use that because you have to pay extra for it. But for your listing, if you put the word gift or, for this example, golf gifts for men, it's not going to hurt you because it's free to do, and it's going to help your SEO and your discoverability during these holiday seasons. So I'd come in here, if I had some room, I might just add golf gifts for men at the very end or somewhere near the top. I'd also come to my bullet points here, and I'd add a bullet point, which, as you can see here, best gifts for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Black Friday, and basically every other holiday during this period. They've already gone ahead, they've done that, and that's something I would do that really just helps the consumer convert that sale, because if they're looking for a gift for somebody and they're on your listing unsure, just a simple sentence like that saying, this is going to be a great gift for whoever, can really set yourself apart and convert that sale. All right, well, thank you for watching. Those are 3 different areas of my own Amazon store that I always make adjustments on, and you would be surprised how well it actually works out and allows you to convert more sales efficiently during this holiday season.